This is Jeff White with Life and Living Now and Versatile Fighting Arts, and I wanted to do another video on an exercise that I teach through my Qigong as well as in the martial arts. And I'm going to set these down while I speak. And it is it comes from an internal energy system called Min Zin, and it's from the Myanmar people and the Bando people, and it's their internal energy system as I understand it. And that's how it was explained to me when I was taught this by a gentleman called Ron Carlson. His title is Hanshe Ron Carlson, Kajikempo player. He's been a mentor and a friend for many, many years. And when I first started in martial arts, I had been weightlifting for a long time and had thoroughly enjoyed it. But I'd also gotten where I had hurt my shoulders, and I really couldn't, raise my shoulders much without a significant amount of pain. And he had taught this to me. And it's similar, it is the teacup exercise that you'll see in, I know, karate schools, as well as Tai Chi. And it's designed to help with the shoulders. So when I learned this, my shoulders had been jacked for a while. I did it every day for 6 weeks, and my shoulders loosened up. And since then, I have been a fan. And I have taught this to quite a number of people, put it out on videos like this on YouTube. And even in my Qigong class, I've had several people come up and just talk about, they've had shoulders that just seemed not quite frozen, but just didn't really move, didn't have a lot of, full rotation coming in. And once they've been doing this Min Zin, they say that it begins to open up their shoulders so they can feel it, which is wonderful. It's what it's designed to do. Now, every time, in my martial arts, if I'm doing, we start to doing strikes, and I do something that kind of wakes up my shoulder and lets me know it's there, I'll go back and I'll do this Min Zin, a few times, 2, 3, 4 times, whatever it takes for it to kind of settle back down again. And, a couple years ago, I did a good number on this shoulder, and, had it x-rayed, and there was, rotator cuff issues, there was bone spurs, there was arthritis, there's all kinds of stuff up in there. And it took me a while to heal this, and I did go to physical therapy and for them to take a look at it. They gave me some exercises that worked, but I still continued to do the Min Zin. And I can say the Min Zin, really, this exercise really played more of a part in my total health and healing with this than many of the exercises. The exercises were good, and I continue to use some to this day to strengthen the shoulders. So I wanted to pass this along to you. Now, there are probably three different stages in the Min Zin. The first is just warm up. So similar to Qigong and doing activation and warm up, we're just going to move. And then we begin to continue that warm up, working side to side. Then we go into the flow. And then there's a free form section after. Now, I don't teach the free form in the Qigong class. We're already moving to something else. But if you're doing this as a separate practice, I would very much encourage you to do the free form part of it. Why? Because when you're in free form and you're just feeling and focusing on your body and you're just moving, eventually, and it may not be this way at first, but you're going to start to just relax. Your body's going to relax, your mind's going to relax, you're just going to start to just roll with this, and you're just going to move, and you forget about your aches and pains. You forget about what you're supposed to do, and then you just move. So that's what this is about. So there's 3 stages: the activation, the flow, and the free form. Now, you can do this empty-handed, and a lot through recent years have all been done empty-handed. But what I do, I just orientate my palm as much to the sky as possible. So you see, hand up, curling, and my waist will move with this as well. Now, when I was first taught this, I was told go find some rocks, some river rocks, smooth rocks that will fit in the palm of your hand. So I went and I have these rocks. And the rocks fit right in the palm of my hand, just as they said go and find them. Now, the rock does a couple of things. It puts your mind in your hand. So now here is my focus. But it does something else that you also want to do while if you're doing this, as an empty hand without having a prop. And that is, you'll notice in order to kind of keep that rock, in my palm, my thumb and my little finger, they're opposed to each other and they kind of stick out, creating this concave shape to my palm. And if you are familiar with Kung Fu, Qigong, probably Tai Chi, you understand what we're doing here. So it's the same thing. We're activating this meridian point called Lao Gong, a very powerful point right in the palm of your hand. So take the two rocks. I would suggest taking the two rocks, but if you can't find the rocks, then skip over that part and just imagine they're there. But your feet are about shoulder width apart. Remember, this is designed not to be, it's not a competition, it's not meant to be a strenuous exercise, rather the reverse. You're using mindfulness, intent, and breath, all right? Your breathing, let's talk about that. In this case, there's not a definite inhale. I get to right here and I'm going to exhale. I can do that, but it doesn't have to be. What I would suggest, and what I have found to be the best practice for me, was just to be breathing. Deep diaphragmatic breathing from your belly, nice and relaxed and controlled as you go through this. Even when you're in your free form section and you're moving, your breath is deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So if you stay calm. By doing that, you activate vagus nerve, parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest part instead of fight or flight. So, your feet underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees just a little bit so they're not locked. And when we're going to start, now you don't have to say everything has to be coming from my center. No, this is more relaxed. I'm just moving in and out. Just moving in and out. Now there is no set number of times that you would do this. You'll just do this until you feel like you don't want to do it anymore. But remember, this is the warm-up phase. So once I get both hands going, I can stop and I can go two hands. One goes out, one goes back. A little twist in the body. Breathe. Little dip in the knees, just getting the blood going. Now, once we get to this, we've done this for a bit. Now, come back, and the front hand swims to the back. All right, so now, a little more motion. Really extend this. You don't need to overextend it. It's not a competition. There we go. I turn my body just a little bit so I can feel the full extension in my arms. Slow it down, bring it to front. Now, let them run parallel to each other and let them slide. They kind of spiral back as far as you can go. So you're going to feel this elbows and hips. They're still running parallel. Now, once you've done that a couple of times, then you can switch. And in this case, my right hand will go over my left hand. Remember, stay mindful. Now I'm going to go left hand, in this case, under my right hand. My focus will be on my left hand. And I can switch it back. Just the idea is let this flow. That's all you're doing. And this is just a nice little warm-up. Now, we're going to get in. So I go a little bit wider on my feet just for stability. And bring some, once again, we're orientating the palms to the sky. In this case, I'm feeding it from my center out. Nice, I can do nice big movements. If you find areas where your shoulders don't want to cooperate, just kind of relax. Find where you can find that path forward and then use that. When you first get started doing this, be prepared to hear a lot of crunchiness in your shoulders from cartilage and all that good stuff. I take that as a good sign that you're starting to break that cartilage up. Now you see we've been going to the outside. Now I can go to the inside. So now I can still come across. I bring it in. Notice I have to make way, still keeping the palm centered, orientated to the ceiling, nice and relaxed. Now remember, you can have fun with this. So I can go one to the outside, one to the inside, back to the outside, into. Oh, I want to go inside this time, and I'm going to take this one to the outside. It's all what you want to do. You can do two hands to the outside. And now I'm going to have a little more forward motion with my spine. I can go inside both hands. And then the next part is just begin to move. And here, all I'm doing is just moving. It doesn't have to be anything set. It doesn't have to be anything funky or fancy. You're just moving. You're just playing with the energy and the rock. And the idea is you keep your hands moving. You can let one stay while the other one's going, but you keep everything moving together. And then bring it in home. Slow it down. And then I stand. Now in here I will simply stand. Bear hose ball in front. And just absorb, just to feel. So as you can see, this takes 10 minutes. When I'm in times if I'm having a really busy schedule, I can do this in 5. But 10 to 15 minutes is all it takes. Do this every day. And I can promise you, based upon my experiences and those that I have turned this on to, and they have done it every day, that you'll feel the difference in your shoulders. And I will suggest doing it. I teach it in Qigong just to loop the shoulders, just to kind of keep them in good working order. So I encourage you to try it out, see what you think. Feel free to email me. You can either put comments in. You can email me if you're on the Versatile Fighting Arts side. It's versatilefightingarts@gmail. If you are getting this from the Qigong side of life, then it's lifeandlivingnow@gmail. Thank you. Have a great day.